Hey Deep Divers, welcome back to Deep Dive Disney. My name is Eric, and today we're going to be doing another first-time viewing of a Disney film that I have somehow never seen. We're going to be watching the sequel to the last movie we watched, The Misadventures of Merlin Jones. Today we're going to be watching The Monkey's Uncle, starring Annette Funicello and Tommy Kirk. It's such a fun and great theme song. Annette with the Beach Boys. If you haven't heard this, check it out. It's a bop. Credit is just Annette again. Norman Grabowski, back from the first movie. Ooh! Get it, Annette. I don't think I knew this was a Sherman Brothers song. That makes a lot of sense. Co-producer Ron Miller. Walt's son-in-law. Oh, that girl is looking directly into camera.
Your name is Merlin Jones, and you're a student at Midvale College.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, you realize this is a most unusual adoption petition.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
It's weird that this is a sequel, and these are the same characters from the first movie who had a very close relationship in the first movie, and they're behaving as if they've never met. That's weird.
Tell me, why are you so anxious to adopt this chimpanzee?
Because you stole him in the last movie, and I'm trying to protect him.
I want him to have a chance to realize his full intellectual possibilities.
Yes, I remember. You believe that chimps can be trained to think like humans.
Yes, sir. I believe...
That was very weird. So now they do know each other.
So, henceforth, you will be regarded in the eyes of this court and are so appointed as the monkey's uncle.
Oh, thank you, sir. But he's not a monkey, sir. He's a chimp.
Oh, yes, of course, a chimp.
You're civilized now, Stanley, which means that there's more to life than just eating and sleeping and watching westerns. There. That's Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. It's a lot better than cowboys and Indians, isn't it?
Stanley. Classical music is to be appreciated.
No, Stanley. The idea is to expose you to intellectual influences. That's better, isn't it?
I don't think Stanley agrees. Uh-oh. Wacky hijinks already. The chimpanzee's reaction to the bubbles were very funny.
Just let me show you the progress he's made.
So much progress.
That's the old sleep learning. I've got a new idea. You see, I bypass the ear entirely, and by bone conduction, I pipe it through the learning centers in the temporal lobes and the precentral gyrus direct into his unconscious.
So a little tidbit of information here. This is the last film for Disney that both Annette and Tommy Kirk made.
Turn it off. Get out of bed. Turn on the coffee. Wake.
If you understood English, this would matter.
Take a shower and brush your teeth.
This is such a well-trained chimpanzee.
Wake me up. You did it, Stanley. You did it. You carried out your assignment. Good boy.
Oh, God.
Smartest chip in Midvale.
Students cheating on examinations.
Particularly football players?
All right, Devin, we know you don't approve of football.
Professor Shattuck specializes in cheating on examinations. I mean, Professor Shattuck is an expert on the subject of cheating on exams.
Now, here we have a pen, and ink made of vegetable coloring, and ordinary chewing gum. Teppet wrote the information he needed on the stick of gum and placed it on his desk during the exams. When the instructor became suspicious and approached to investigate, Teppet merely destroyed the evidence.
I mean, that's pretty clever.
Are you in favor of cheating on college exams?
No, of course not, but you can't blame football for that.
Good evening,
Oh,
Judge.
Haywood, I'm glad you could come.
Well, what's the trouble?
A crisis.
Hey,
Haywood.
there's Norman.
Absolute crisis.
Oh, Judge.
Every year he tries to penalize Midvale for not letting him on the team when he and I were undergraduates here.
Gee, I didn't know Midvale was that old a college.
I played football for Midvale.
I didn't know football was that old a game. Judge, the boys are a little confused.
Well, they'll just have to study harder.
That's easier said than done, Judge.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
These guys are dumb as shit.
I can't stand him.
Who?
Don Haywood. He's such a terrible snob. Unless you're a member of Moo Moo fraternity or something else he considers socially important, he ignores you.
We're having a dance at the Moo Moo House Saturday night. We'd like you to be there.
Isn't he nice?
Snob?
And I hear those Moo Moo dances are really marvelous.
Annette, you sellout.
But the main thing is your concentrated studying. Very good, Sid. Very good indeed. The sitter isn't here yet.
Hello, I'm Lisa.
Hi.
Yeesh.
Hi.
This is Merlin.
That was intensely creepy. We're gonna play the same song that we played in the opening credits.
If you mean cribbing now, that's out. Because cheating on exams is just as dishonest as stealing.
Now, wait a minute, Merle.
That's right, Merlin.
You were so ingenious that you could figure out an honest way to cheat. Look at it this way. No one would put you and Norman in the ring together to slug it out because it wouldn't be fair. We could try it. But they put you in the same classroom, they give you the same exam.
Look, I'm willing to help anyone who wants to study for his exams, but if he can't study, or if he doesn't want to study, then what's he doing in college anyway?
Exactly.
It wouldn't have hurt you to help them.
Well, I did offer to help them study, but they wanted me to cheat for them.
And that's against your principles, of course, so now you're not going to be a Moo Moo.
Yeah, that's you should be commending me.
I believe you can do anything if you really put your mind to it.
I want to socially climb. Help them cheat.
Sleep learning?
It worked wonders with Stanley.
Yeah, but Stanley's an intelligent chimp. The question is, will it work with these two?
In World War II.
I feel like Norman has gotten dumber in this film.
The Elizabethan period takes its name from Elizabeth I.
The Elizabethan period, sir.
The Elizabethan period takes its name from Elizabeth I, who was Queen of England from 1558 to...
That is so disturbing. Oh my. What? What? This is crazy.
I knew he'd come through, and he has!
Oh, oh.
From now on, you must think of Merlin as belonging to Midvale, and not just to you.
Oh, I don't really mind.
Oh, no, no.
He doesn't have to enjoy it, so...
What? An F for Merlin Jones? Norman, Merlin, and Leon. Yes, I'll tell them.
From hero to zero.
Do they look like students who would get grades of 100% in English literature?
Do these students look dumb as hell? They do.
Merlin, may I try it?
What?
The sleep learning.
When the alarm clock rings, turn it off. Get out of bed.
Oh no. She's learning Stanley's routine.
It's quite clear what's going on.
I resent that.
Oh, you do
Yes,
you?
I do. You're right.
Please, girls.
Oof.
If you're yelling and shouting, you'll upset Stanley.
All you care about is Stanley.
You know you're quite right, Jennifer. He hasn't given a thought to my feelings or yours.
That's just it, Lisa. And as far as I'm concerned, he can take Stanley and both go back to the jungle.
Time for that, too.
But
Wait, why? You asked me to do something for you and I did. What the hell?
And I'll be glad to testify that he's not a fit guardian for a chimpanzee.
What? This movie has taken a very weird turn.
The Board of Regents made its decision. It's their verdict that... Surprise! It's their verdict that sleep learning is an honest way to cheat. He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow.
Well,
The
gentlemen,
end. Oh.
now that our unhappy little controversy is over,
I have persuaded Mr. J.P. Asterbilt to endow Midvale College with $1 million.
Well,
one
Asterbilt. It's like just put a bunch of famous rich names together.
There is a condition. Mr. Asterbilt stipulates football must be abolished or the deal is off.
just because you couldn't make the team when you were a student here, you're forever sniping at Midvale football.
2 weeks from today, Mr. Asterbilt will be here with a check for $1 million. And at that time, football at Midvale will come to an end.
That is a petty, petty man.
Mr. Green, I'm a very busy man.
So am I, but I'm going to read you a poem about my granddaddy.
I told you I am very busy.
And it might mean a very big endowment to Midvale College.
I gather you feel your ancestors been slurred, but what can be done about it now?
Well, I'd like to clear Granddaddy's name by proving a fella can fly under his own power by getting someone to do it.
$10 million?
That's right.
So again, it feels like Misadventures of Merlin Jones, where it's two different plots kind of shoved together into one movie, because it seems like the whole football team thing with the sleep learning is done. Now we're moving on to something else.
Merlin, why don't you hurry up and invent that plane so you can take me to the movie?
Annette's priorities are just right in line.
See how it's designed for flight.
It's cute.
Most important of all.
It's a seagull. It's not cute. It's filthy.
Don't the wings help too?
Of course they help. But man was...
Don't the wings help in flying? Yeah, Annette, they do.
Certainly you weren't designed for flying.
Of course not. I have no wings.
No wings and heavy legs.
Really, Merlin?
God, she has a hair trigger, doesn't she?
I meant man's legs in general.
Oh.
She goes from 0 to furious in like split second. $10 million in 1965 is worth $82 million today. So that's an enormous amount of money that this guy's willing to give. Yeah, you haven't been featured up to this point. You're not going to get the job.
AJ?
Dr. Teeth? Uh.
90,000 cheering students in your stadium, the Leon Memorial Stadium.
Memorial?
Stadium.
Oh, God.
Wonderful.
Now we see the application of scientific principles.
Condor Man! Seriously? Oh, my God. You are gonna die. You are gonna die.
Lights.
He's gone.
Leon, that we've learned is... Leon? Didn't you learn anything from the film?
Sure, I learned what kind of a bird I am. Chicken. Yes, I'm afraid.
Oh, don't let the 90-mile-an-hour part scare you. We'll launch at 60.
Smile, Leon. You look as though you've been sentenced to death.
Kind of.
Just empty your mind.
Done.
Your head is an empty cup, which we will fill with the thoughts we want in it.
That's terrifying when you think about the implications of that. You will think what we want you to think. I've never heard this song either. This guy has a great face. Very expressive, very wide-eyed and dumb-looking. Oh, dear.
I can fly, I can fly.
I can fly, or I'll die. It's interesting that this is called The Monkey's Uncle, because Stanley's really not at all part of the plot. That worked out very well, I think.
Look out for the hog wallow! What hog wallow?
The what? Hog wallow. Ew.
Leon, say something. All right, I will. I quit.
How did it go?
I mean, he flew. It worked.
The project was doomed from the start.
Shh, quiet, Merlin.
Except you did it. I'm confused. It worked.
It's up to you now. Behind every man who ever accomplished anything, there's a woman nagging him on to success.
Oh my God. Wildly sexist.
Girls are born knowing how, especially the pretty ones.
You think I'm pretty?
And why wasn't it good enough? Because man isn't strong enough.
Then why don't you make man stronger?
Jen.
What's the matter?
You've done it again. You just put your finger on it with your dumb question.
On what?
With your dumb question. I love you too. Jesus Christ. That was horrifying. What was that?
If you did the same thing now that the moment of fear is gone, you wouldn't have a fraction of the power in your punch. Jen, will you try and be scientific for a minute, not just feminine? Don't you see, adrenaline is the answer.
What does that mean?
Remember when I did this?
Stop that! Leave that girl alone!
You hurt him!
Merlin Jones. I should have known.
Oh, but Mr. Dearborn,
Oh, I'm terribly
Stay away from me, you female monster, you.
But Mr.
Female monster.
I shall yell for the police.
come on, we got work to do.
We just assaulted somebody.
What I'm trying to do is synthesize an adrenaline derivative that won't just give a burst of super strength.
Go talk to fellow student Kurt Russell. Because he's the strongest man in the world.
Angry? I'm not going to let you take it. That's Stanley's job, isn't it, Stanley?
Yay for animal testing.
Look at that.
You're never getting your security deposit back on that apartment.
This means that with liquid strength, man-powered flight will work.
Oh, Merlin, you're wonderful.
I couldn't have done it without you. You asked the most brilliant, dumb questions of anyone I know.
Oh, God. Don't say it that way. Don't... If that's the nicest thing he's ever said to you, then... You need somebody new.
Put him down. Stanley, put him down.
Come on, Stanley.
You put him down.
That was weird. She said put him down with her eyes up and then was like, oh wait, put him down.
That young fellow there can clear my granddaddy's name. Worth every penny I have in the world. Can't tell a man's wealth by his looks, only by his bank account.
Did no one look into his finances to make sure that he actually has the money?
Good luck, Merlin.
Thanks, Jen.
Here's your steroids.
Be careful.
He made it.
I sure wish my granddaddy could see him now. We can keep football at Midvale. Here you are, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Again, this has nothing to do with the chimpanzee. Why is this movie called The Monkey's Uncle?
I'd like him to see that check. You know something, Judge? I've been looking at you, and I've come to the conclusion you're shadow faded too.
Hello, Henry. We found you again.
Walter, Tony.
Uh-oh.
This is Judge Holmesby.
Hi, Judge. Well, come along, Henry.
But, gentlemen, you're mistaken. This is Mr. Darius Green.
Darius Green? Once he was Alexander Hamilton, and he tried to give away the United States Treasury. Did he offer you any money?
Just
Come along, Henry.
gotta humor him, Judge. They're nice.
Maybe we should have looked into his background before just believing him. Ooh, ooh. And Merlin died. That's why there's no sequel to this one.
Take it easy, Judge. No sense being a bad loser. Why, Mr. Esterbilt, what are you doing here?
Delighted to see you, Dearborn. I'll give you that check right now. Well, I have to go along with these shadow faded.
That's a fun twist. That's a very fun twist.
You fill it in now for any amount you want.
Come back, Henry! Come back!
Good Lord. Oh my God, what a weird movie. Okay, overall reactions to the film, and in case you're wondering why I'm better lit, I realized I didn't have my light on the entire time, so sorry. But it was my first reaction, so I can't really go back and redo it. I had a really good time. I thought the film was super fun. As I mentioned during the film, I really don't know why this was called The Monkey's Uncle. Obviously, there's that moment at the very, very beginning of the film where he adopts Stanley, or tries to adopt Stanley, and they make him his uncle. But Stanley is really not featured at all in the film. He's kind of a secondary character at best, and really peripheral to the entire action of the film. Much like Misadventures of Merlin Jones, I felt like this felt like two different movies put together. And I wonder if maybe these are based on short stories or a comic book or something, where it's a bunch of short stories that they kind of couldn't make a full feature film out of, so they put a couple of small stories together. It definitely feels like a movie of its time. It's a Disney film of the 60s, and it feels like that. The acting is all a bit broad. The comedy is all a bit slapstick, and, you know, we're not looking for high art or any really deep meaning to these films. But it's a light entertainment, and it's fun, and it's fluffy. If you haven't heard that title song, check it out. It's very fun, and I mean, the Beach Boys and Annette, you can't get much more 60s than that, but it's pretty great. As I mentioned during the film, this was the last movie that Annette and Tommy Kirk made for the Walt Disney Company. For Annette, that was a choice. For Tommy Kirk, not so much. During the Misadventures of Merlin Jones, it was discovered that Tommy Kirk was having a gay relationship with a 15-year-old boy, and Tommy Kirk was 21 at the time, so lots of problems there. From what I've read, the parents of the boy found out and confronted Disney and Tommy Kirk directly, and his contract was terminated. However, because Misadventures of Merlin Jones was a pretty big hit and they wanted to make the sequel, they invited him back for one last film. So this was the last film that Tommy Kirk made, and it was outside of his contract with Disney. And actually, I'm kind of glad that I did that research for this movie, because I'd always heard that Tommy Kirk was kind of not blacklisted, but kind of excised out of the Walt Disney Company. And I had always heard it was just because he was gay, which always made me kind of sad. But then to hear that it was more than that, and that it was, you know, a younger person, and that's a much different situation than just being fired because you're gay. Being fired because you're in a relationship with a minor is a big difference, and that made me feel better. Not better that it happened, but better that that's the reason he was let go from his contract from Disney, and not just because he was gay. Big difference. But to wrap it up, I would say this is a super fun film. Both of them are fun, and really kind of light entertainment that's not going to ruin your day if you watch it, and you'll get a couple of really good laughs. I will say, the reveal at the very end of having the escaped mental patient be both donors, both the donor that from Vermont and also the Mr. Astrobuilt, I thought was a really fun reveal that I did not see coming at all. And very surprising and clever, and I thought it was great. I thought that was super fun. So that is another reaction for a first-time viewing of a Disney movie that I've never seen. If you have some Disney movies that you really think are obscure and maybe I haven't seen, please recommend down below. I would love to hear what you think and get some more crossed off my list of movies that I haven't seen yet. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and subscribe. Thanks again, and see you real soon.